Hello everyone, welcome back to Command Wolf Gaming. I'm CWG, and welcome to another episode of Trailmakers. Now, if you don't know what this map is, this is actually a simulation map. This is a flat plane map that the developers of Trailmakers, Flash Wolf Games, made so you can try something out in a very open plane. You don't have to deal with like many environmental issues or anything like that. So it's just flat, it's open, and it has a very, very long distance. So today I want to show you guys some logic, right? Logic and sensors and stuff like that. And the reason being is because it's not something I really use that much on the channel itself. I try to avoid using logic because I don't want to bog down the controls. So on the game, you got 3 different logic gates. You got an AND gate, OR gate, XOR gate. Then you got a distance sensor, speed sensor, and an altitude sensor. And all of these can be programmed in different formats, right? Now, we're just going to do the very basic format that you can go really far down the rabbit hole with this. And I want to try to avoid that as much as possible because you can have an AND gate and an AND gate. You can have an OR gate and a NOR gate and an XOR gate and a NOX gate. I forgot what the other one is called. Anyway, so, and they do have good explanations on here, but I don't feel like they have the best explanation. So I wanted to go over these. Then obviously these are self-explanatory. At a certain distance, this will go off. At a certain speed, this will go off. At a certain altitude, this will go off. And again, we'll go down that rabbit hole in a bit. So the first one I want to go over is the AND gate. Now the AND gate works on the principle that it has to have 2 or more inputs in order for it to do something. So the AND gate itself is programmed on W. So if I hit W, which I'm hitting right now, you'll see on the gate itself that green arrow. That is saying that it's receiving input from the W key. Now, this distance sensor is programmed to go off when this lever arm right here goes in front of it. So now if I push that lever arm down, it sends a signal to the AND gate. However, the light on top of that AND gate did not go off because it did not have 2 or more inputs into it to send the signal to the light. So if we do both now, boom. Very simple. You have to have 2 or more inputs in order to do it. And in fact, we'll even do one better. So we're going to do, let's do a, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that we can put on here. Yes, we can do another AND gate, right? And this will be programmed to that, which will then be programmed to that. But this will be programmed to W instead. So if I did that right, W, boom. Light doesn't go off. Now space, and it goes off. So that AND gate needs 2 or more signals being put into it. So all positive signals in order for that light to go off. Plain and simple. AND gates are actually probably the simplest ones to use. And yeah. So anyway, let's move on to the XOR gate. Now the the OR gate. So the OR gate doesn't care what input it has. As long as it has a positive input, it will send, it will turn that thing on or do that thing that it's programmed to do. So if I hit W on this, the light goes on. If I turn that lever down, the light goes on. If I go over and I put a AND gate in here, and that is programmed to W, and that is programmed to hit that OR gate, and that is going to be on that, right? Now, if I do that, it turns on, right? So it doesn't care what input it has. You can have all these inputs positive, and it'll still turn on. Very simple, very easy, very clean, and efficient. And OR gates, that's right, and OR gates are pretty much the simplest to understand. Now, the XOR gates are kind of a head scratcher because you think, oh, what XOR gate? You know, you got two or more positive inputs. I don't give a shit about what input I have. this actually cares what input you have. And the reason why I'm saying that is because then you can program it to do so much more, saying like, okay, at this thing, you cannot have this input, but if it has this input, you can. But if you have both inputs together, it will not do it. And let me show you a quick explanation on this. So if I hit W, the light turns on, right? If I hit S, the light, not S, A, to put the lever down, the light turns on, right? Same thing like a OR gate, pretty much. Now, if I hit both, turns off, because it doesn't like multiple signals doing the same exact job. It only likes one signal doing the same exact job. And I can do this again. We're going to take an AND gate, put it over here, program it to fire that off, and actually we'll put it on spacebar again, right? 1, 2, very simple. That's W, turns on, spacebar, turns on, doesn't like either or, doesn't like that. So it needs only one input to activate. So the XOR gate is actually a bit more difficult, but it's kind of nicer in some builds. Now, since we're down that rabbit hole, we're actually going to pull out this baby. Nope, wrong one. This baby. So this baby, it has a XOR gate, it has a distance sensor, and it has an AND gate. Now, let me explain what this setup is. It's a very basic jetpack design, which doesn't work well. I'm not the best programmer, but we do what we have to. So this distance sensor is programmed to go off at 2 meters. That means if it senses anything in 2 meters, which is somewhere below here, it will turn on. Plain and simple, right? Now, when it turns on, it will send a signal to this AND gate. Now, the reason why I have an AND gate in here is so that it doesn't fire off immediately. The AND gate is programmed with A to fire off. In fact, if we take a look, we'll put it on spacebar instead. However, this is programmed to fire off the XOR gate. Now, the XOR gate is also programmed with the key W, right? So if we go and jump into this, as you can see, we're already getting a positive input on the AND gate. Now, if I hit spacebar, you'll quickly see that we'll get a signal, right, on the AND gate. So 2 green arrows will show up, and then you'll see a signal drop down to the XOR gate. So, boom, right there. And we took a head-on collision. So, but as you can see, right, it fired off. And I don't know why those are all going off at the same time. You are not programmed to do anything. Don't do anything. Stop doing things. You too. Now, if I hit W, which is what is programmed on the XOR gate, it will fly just fine. Right? But now, if I hit spacebar, remember, AND gates need multiple inputs in order for it to work correctly. So that's the reason why it's not working right now. All right, let me redo that last part. So if I hit spacebar and W at the same time, you'll see the 2 back lights light up, right? Indicating that both buttons are being pushed. It will not fire the engines off. W and spacebar is now being pushed. You're getting a positive feed on the AND and a positive feed on the W, and it's not sending that signal further out. Done. Excuse me. That is going to prevent it from launching. However, if I release W, it took off. And the reason is because this only sensed one input. It was sensing the distance sensor input. However, we can now change this programming. We can invert this input. Right? Now if I hit W, well, W went up. Whoops. I meant to hit spacebar. Now, if we take a look at this, the distance sensor is not going off. And the reason why is because we told it to not go off if it sends anything at the 2 meters. So, if I hit spacebar, now we're getting a positive signal to the AND gate. It's not sending anything to the XOR gate, which is not firing the gimbal. However, if I hit W, I launch into the air, right? I released. Now, if I hit space, I continue my upward trek. As you can see right on there on the logic gate. And the reason being is because the sensor now is not picking up anything. So it's saying, yes, we're good, we're clear, go ahead. You can fire off whatever you need to do. And that's pretty much how an XOR gate works. And that's pretty much how a distance sensor works. Now, the distance sensor, they haven't marked out as meters. I don't know what is a meter in this game. Is 1 meter a block distance? Could we say a block is a meter? I don't know. I have not figured that out yet. But we can try that right now. So, if we go down here, program this, we're just going to turn that to regular. And we're going to do 0 meters right now. Right? 0 meters doesn't turn on. Okay? Then we're going to do this again. We're going to do this at 0.5. Let's see if that does anything now. 0.5 meters, it fires off. Okay, let's see if we can we do anything lower than 0.5. I don't think we can do anything lower than 0.5. 0.3, let's try 0.3. 0.3, it doesn't fire off. Okay, so that means that every half a block is a half a meter. So if we go like this, right, and we're just going to add that in, this should still pick it up at a full meter. As you can see, it does pick it up at a full meter. It did fire off. There you go. So let's just try a 0.5 again. Drop it down. There you go. So now we know that the distance sensor is programmed to a block height. So 2 pieces, like let's say a mini Lego block like this, a 1x2 counts as 1 meter on the long side. However, on the short side, it counts as a half a meter. So that's actually good to know on future builds. That is something that everybody should know so they know what they're working with. Maybe somebody can create a ruler or something. So let's get rid of that. Now we're going to talk about altitude sensors. Now altitude, that's the wrong one again. Now, altitude sensors work on a different principle. It works on altitude. Now, we have the same setup, XOR gate, AND gate, and same thing. We just switched out the sensors. Now, this is programmed to altitude of 110. Now, if I turn that off, right, we're already at an altitude of 100 meters. Or that's what accordance with what it says. So, if I jump in here and I hit up, I will immediately go up because I'm above 100 meters. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Alright guys, I'm a little bit of doy here. So what happened is, see this says 110 meters, right? Because that's my cutoff point, right? So if we're below 110 meters, we should not be able to fire off this gimbal jet. So if this has a positive feed of A, which I will put on W in this, actually spacebar in this case, right? It will, so this altitude sensor, if we're below 110 meters, will not send a signal to the AND gate, which will not send a signal to the XOR gate. So, and that is with W. So, nope, not wrong button. Sorry, I'm doing a very poor explanation on this. So, it's programmed at 110 meters. So if we're below 110 meters, we're not going to be able to fire off if I hit the spacebar. As you can see, the AND gate is receiving input. However, it's not receiving the other input, saying that to send a signal to the XOR gate. Now, if we go over here and we flip this trigger below, it will start sending out a signal below that altitude to the AND gate. So we're already seeing those green arrows lit up. Now, if I hit spacebar, we'll go up. However, our engines will cut out because we have reached the designated altitude. We don't need to go any further up because that's what we designed it to do. Now, if we go back on the ground and I explode, our other input, W, will still work, right? And the reason why it will still work because it doesn't care, because that's what inevitable it does. Anyway, however, if I hit both, it will not go off, and that's the XOR gate. But my main explanation is for this altitude sensor. So basically, if we're at 110 meters, right? If I'm hitting W, we'll just keep going up because that's already pre-programmed for the XOR gate. However, since we're below 110 meters, right? If we hit spacebar now, we will go up to that 110 meters and it will stop. And I'll kind of slow down this bit of video so you guys can actually see what's going on here. Because we're kind of bobbing up and down like a yo-yo. So the altitude sensor, depending on how you have it programmed, will act as either you have to be above a certain altitude or have to be below a certain altitude. Now, there is not a proper way of knowing where you are at currently, besides pulling out your altitude sensor and actually like laying it on the ground, and then it'll tell you where it's at. Because when you go into this build mode, you don't see it. It says NA because that's what it does. I did actually talk to the developers about that, saying that maybe that should be changed so you know where you're at currently in build mode, so you're not kind of guessing. So like, because if I had this at, let's say, 600, right, and I had this program to fire this off immediately, and this, not this, right? Bye-bye, see, I don't even know where it went. It's just going to keep flying off into the sky until it hits 600 meters, and then it'll just keep bobbing there. I'm never going to see it again. So that's something that I would like to see changed. Now, the distance sensor is actually a very simple device. So we're going to actually use a speed sensor. So I'm just going to take one at this build here. All right. So I just modified this vehicle a little bit so it has actually the large cannon. I was going to do like something with the, breaking off. I said forget it. Anyway, so on this speed sensor, I have it set to go off at 200 kilometers per hour, not miles per hour, right? This arrow has to face forward because that is your direction of travel. It has to face the direction of travel in order for you to get an input. So once it reaches 200 miles per hour, which will send this signal to this gun, which explodes my vehicle. However, if I maintain a speed lower than that, as you can see, I'm not exploding, even though I'm hitting 100 miles per hour easily. Now, if I go to 200, my vehicle exploded. And because it's saying, hey, look, if you go above this speed, you will blow up. Now, if we do it the other way, let's say 1, it's going to be a little tricky. It will immediately explode. In this case, I'm actually going to put an AND gate on here so it doesn't immediately explode on me. So we're going to do... Okay, so now we added the AND gate in here. This is programmed for spacebar. This is programmed to go off at 10 kilometers per hour. So, if I get in it, well, below 10 kilometers per hour. So, I am above 10 kilometers per hour. If I hit spacebar, I will not explode. Right? Now, if I slow down, you can see the green arrow has been lit on the AND switch. Because it's saying, hey, look, you're below that 10 kilometers per hour. You should be doing something. So if I'm above both, it won't do it. Now, I'm going to hold spacebar, right? As you can see, you're getting a positive input on the AND side. Now I'm going to start slowing down. As soon as I hit 10, boom, I blew up. So, pretty interesting thing to do. Now, obviously, we do have some more mechanical pieces that we can play around with. Steering hinges, large hinges, trailer hinges, suspension hinges, rotating servos, spinning servos, pistons, detachable blocks, and straight blocks. So let's try something with the detachable block, which I actually kind of wanted to do before. I'm going to take this out, and we're going to add a detachable block to it. That's a suspension piece, not a detachable block. Right? And we're just going to put a monster truck tire on here. Because why the heck not, right? We're going to delete that. And we're just going to put the distance, speed sensor on here. Now I'm just kind of showing you guys the versatility. I'm going to program that, right? And I don't think it really matters as long as one goes off, right? Okay, so they're just programmed simply to pop off. We're going to turn that off. So at this point, we're going to program... Actually, you know what? Instead of this, we're not going to use that one. We're just going to use one of these so we have a balanced build here. Right? Now, if we get to 200 kph, it will send a signal to these two and that wheel would come off. So, here we go. 200. Boom! There goes the wheel. One more time, because I don't think we got a good video of that. Come on. And there goes the wheel. So you can program certain things at certain heights, altitudes, speeds, whatever. So I kind of wanted to dive into that because I wanted to understand it a little bit more. Even though I kind of got the general gist of it, you know, but I feel like when I start doing builds, I get too focused on the build, then all of a sudden I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. So... Okay, wow, that wheel really got some distance on there. So, anyhow, I think I'm going to wrap it up today, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in today here on Command Wolf Gaming. Sorry, I did not do any crazy builds today. I just want to kind of go over all these different gates and everything. And not really make it an explanation, but kind of like an exploratory type build thing. So that we can try this out, because I know I had a significant issue with this baby here. In fact, I just wanted to try something here, and I wanted to see if this will actually fix some of the issues that we're having. Yeah, I think this will need some more programming because it's highly unbalanced. Anyway. Thank you guys for tuning in today here on Command Wolf Gaming. Hope you enjoy the footage. If you have any comments or suggestions, make sure to leave it down below in the comment section. If you want me to do something specific on Trailmakers, make sure to slap it down below in the comment section, because I want to know what you guys think. Now, remember guys, 50, not 50, 85% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet. That's right, about 85% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet. So make sure to hit that big red subscribe button down below and, you know, show me some love. And anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, like, subscribe, and share. Spread the love, and I hope to see you next time here on Command Wolf Gaming. Oh, we're just on the brink of actually hitting the sound barrier. Come on, you can do it! I'm not going to be able to do it in this. Alright, see you guys next time.